How do you know when to eat? How do you know what to eat and how much to eat? Diet culture tells us that that's not something we can figure out for ourselves. We can't trust our bodies to know what's good for us, and we can't trust ourselves to make the right decision. We need somebody else to tell us how to eat. But that's not true. We don't need somebody else. We can trust our bodies to tell us when, what, and how much to eat. God designed us with all the parts that we need to do that, with all the parts that we need for a healthy relationship with food. Our relationship with food is actually a complex system of interworking parts. We can use these parts to tune into our body and gather all the data that we need to feed ourselves. Diet culture teaches us to tune out some of those parts, to silence or ignore them, which inadvertently puts more undue stress on other parts of the system, just like when any system isn't working right. But we can still always get the system running smoothly again. And if you want to do that, it can help to know how the whole system works together. So that's what this video is about. What are the parts of us that go into having a healthy relationship with our food? I'm not going to try to name every part, just some of the key parts that help us decide when, what, and how much to eat. That's our body's need for calories, our body's need for different nutrients, our hunger, our fullness, our satisfaction, our body respect, our body trust, and our choice. When all of these parts are working together, our body gets what it needs, we feel content and satisfied with our meal, and then we can move on with our lives. So how do all these different parts work together as a system? The shortest answer is attunement and autonomy. We tune in and listen to our body, and then we make our own choice. But of course, I'm going to also give you the longer answer. And I'm going to go through each one of them one at a time. So how do we know when it's time to eat? Our hunger cues. Any of them, all of them. Our hunger cues are the discernible signs that our body gives us to let us know when we're hungry. Everybody has different hunger cues. And part of body respect is learning what our unique hunger cues look like for us. Then, as we get more familiar with them, we believe them. We trust our body when it says it's hungry, whether it's needing calories or nutrients or something else. We notice our hunger and then we choose what we're going to do about it. We tend to feel most satisfied with our food if we start eating when we're a little bit hungry, not ravenously hungry and not full. But the bottom line is that we have complete freedom to choose when we eat. We can eat at any time. So how do we know what to eat? The key piece here is the satisfaction factor. Yep, I just said that. When it comes to choosing what to eat, satisfaction isn't just good, it's essential. Yet in diet culture, I've only ever heard of satisfaction as something bad, because satisfying food must be unhealthy. And if we are satisfied by our food, or we want to be satisfied by our food, then that's selfish and sinful. But that's not true. God designed us with satisfaction as a key part of a healthy relationship with food. So how does our sense of satisfaction work? We attune to it, meaning we turn our attention to it. It's like another sense that we have. When we're looking at a menu or all the food in front of us on a table, we can check in with ourselves and discern, what do we think will be satisfying in that moment? What sounds appealing? Because what sounds appealing is our clue as to what will satisfy us in that moment. And one way that we respect our body is by giving ourselves the unconditional permission to eat. So that means eating without restriction. When everything's on the table, anything we have access to is something that we can eat. Then we can actually tune in and figure out what do we really want to eat in that moment. We're not limited by trying to pick what we think is the best option or the healthiest. We're not having to think back to the last meal that we had and calculate how many calories that will be. Everything's available. Now this is one of the fun parts. You get to check in with yourself and be curious. What does sound good to you? You can ask yourself, do I want something warm and comforting, something new and exciting, something fresh and crisp and chilled, something battered and fried? That's another way that we trust our body. When all the options are on the table without restriction and we tune in, we can trust that what appeals to us isn't going to hurt us, that our body is going to know what to do with it. And we trust our body to tell us if it's needing something in particular. We don't have to worry about constantly optimizing or maximizing our nutrition or worrying that our body is low on something or missing something. If our body needs something, it's going to tell us. But ultimately, in the end, it comes down to our choice. We have the autonomy to choose, to make our own decisions about what we're going to eat. We can't have a healthy relationship with our food if we don't feel free to make our own choices. So how do we know how much to eat? Again, it comes back to tuning into our sense of satisfaction, our satisfaction factor. But satisfaction isn't just tasting something yummy. Satisfaction isn't just taste. There are a few components that have to fall in place for us to really feel satisfied with our food. We have to feel some kind of fullness. Less hungry, more full. Our body has to get the calories that it needs right now, and our body has to trust us that next time it's hungry, we're going to feed it. And there has to feel like something enjoyable about our food, or our eating experience, or our environment, or the company that we're eating with, some kind of enjoyment factor. And when all of these things come together enough, then at some point in our meal, we feel something called sensory-specific satiety. It's kind of a mouthful. It's at that point in the meal that whatever we're eating starts to feel a little less appealing. That's when our meal's starting to wind down, heading towards a natural, peaceful conclusion. But we don't have to feel completely satisfied with every meal all the time. That would be great, but that's not really realistic. That's not an expectation that we need to put on ourselves or our food. And sometimes that's just not an option based on the food available to us. And sometimes what we thought would be satisfying just ends up feeling a little disappointing. That happens. But the bottom line, as always, with how do we know how much to eat, is it comes down to our choice. It always ends with our choice. So that's our design. That's how all these parts work together to help us have a healthy relationship with our food so that we could decide for ourselves when, what, and how much to eat. So if you're listening to this and you're thinking, wow, that sounds like a lot of work, then you're not alone. We were born being able to do this. It's our design for this to come natural and easy, but then we grew up in diet culture and now it's not. So getting back to where it does feel natural and easy is a process. Mainly it's unlearning the diet mentality, but it's also practicing and experimenting. It's getting to know yourself and your body. It's complex and it takes time, just like with any relationship. But I could tell you with 100% honesty, for myself, having been fully in the diet mentality and now being a confident, intuitive eater, it's absolutely worth it. So I'm curious about you and your experience. What comes up for you when you hear me explain this? Has this been your experience? Does this sound like something you want to try? I'd really love to know. So if you want to share, feel free to drop it in the comments or send me an email. I'm Damara, Christian Intuitive Eating Coach. If you like this video, this content, then please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, then feel free to drop them in the comments or send me an email. And if you want to take the next step in healing your relationship with food, if you want to be able to confidently decide for yourself when, what, and how much to eat, then go to my website and schedule your free 15-minute phone consultation with me and we can get started. Thanks for watching.